Hey everybody, my name is Emily and welcome to yoga. For today's class, I would recommend grabbing yourself some yoga blocks or block-like props. That can be a step stool or a stack of books. And then also grab yourself a throw-sized blanket. It doesn't have to be a large blanket, but just something that you can use to give yourself a little bit of support. So if you haven't already grabbed those things, make sure you pause this video and go get them. Otherwise, let's go ahead and begin. So take a comfortable seat, shift so that you are grounding down through your sit bones. Inhale to lift tall through your spine, roll your shoulders onto your back, and take your hands to your knees or to your thighs. From there, if you feel comfortable, go ahead and allow your eyes to close. We're going to start by tuning into our natural rhythm of breath. Inhaling and exhaling through your nose. Start to scan through your body. Notice any physical sensations, anything you've got going on today. On your next inhale, imagine guiding your breath into your neck and shoulder muscles. On your exhale, allow any tension in these areas to release. Keep going with your breath this way, sending fresh oxygen to your neck and back, releasing any tension as you exhale. On your next inhale, inhale through the nose. On your exhale, release through the mouth. Let's take one more letting go breath, inhaling through your nose and exhaling out your mouth. Then get your hands together at your hearts. Inhale to lift taller through your chest. On your exhale, bow your head towards your hands. I allow myself to feel happy and at ease. Take one more heart-honoring breath right here. And on your exhale, release your hands and gently open your eyes. Inhale, lift tall through the top of your head. Exhale, drop your right ear to right shoulder, or left ear to left shoulder, excuse me. Right ear to right shoulder. Inhale to come to center. Exhale to drop your head to the side. Next time you inhale to center, take your gaze up towards the ceiling. Then you're going to draw your chin down towards your shoulder on the left. Go up towards the ceiling once more and over to your shoulder on the right. Drawing big half circles with your chin here. Continue to lift tall through your spine. Be sure that you're not crunching the back of your neck as you take your gaze up towards the ceiling. come back into center. You're going to start to roll your shoulders back. And roll your shoulders forward. If you are sitting cross-legged, go ahead and switch the cross of your legs and shift so that you're grounding down through those sit bones. Inhale your arms up overhead and see if you can bring your fingertips to touch without necessarily looking. Press your fingertips into one another and inhale to lift tall through your chest. Exhale, release your hands to your sides and take your hands to clasp behind your backs. Roll your shoulders onto your back, and then with bent elbows, you're going to reach your elbows towards one another. Take another inhale to lift tall. Inhale your arms up overhead. Exhale your right hand to the floor. Root down through your left hip. Exhale and maybe start to lean to the right. Take a big breath. On your next exhale, you're going to curl through your chest, bringing your gaze down towards the floor. Inhale to open. Getting deeper into our lats here. Keep going with your breath. Then inhale, open. On your next inhale, rise. Take your hands behind you to clasp once more. Roll your shoulders onto your back and reach your elbows towards one another. Release your hands and take them up overhead. Try to touch your fingertips. Exhale your left hand to the floor and then press down, root down through your right hip. From there, start to lean to the left. Continue to press into the floor so that your ribs are reaching out to the right. On your next exhale, start to curl through your spine. Inhale to open. Inhale to curl open. Exhale. Then inhale to rise. Bring your hands and make fists with your hands and start to rotate through your wrists. Then do some circles. Switch the direction of your circles. And flick your fingers. And then start to set yourself up in hands and knees. If you're on hardwood floor, that means you may want to use your blanket here for some additional support. Bring your wrists directly underneath your shoulders, your knees underneath your hips. On your inhale, you're going to drop your belly down towards the floor. On your exhale, you're going to press your spine towards the ceiling. Keep going with your own breath. and come back to a neutral spine. And if you have your blanket underneath your knees, go ahead and move your blanket off to the side. Then once more, set yourself up with your knees under hips, your wrists underneath your shoulders. You're planting all four corners of your palms into the ground and then gripping the ground with your fingers. From there, you're going to engage your shoulders onto your back and then find a rotation of your upper arm bones so that it brings your elbows in at your side. Your elbow pits are facing the front of your mat. Then press your hands into the ground so that your rib cage moves into the back plane of your body. Engage your core, your low belly. Engage your low glutes. And then you're going to step back with one foot and then the other coming into your plank pose. In your plank, continue to press down with your hands into the ground. And then on your exhale, you're going to bend your elbows, keeping them in at your sides to slowly release down towards the floor. On the floor, untuck your toes, pick up your legs one at a time, and reach them back behind you. Then you're going to plant the tops of your feet into the ground, press your knees into the ground, and engage your low belly so that you're tilting your pelvis a little bit, reaching your tailbone towards your heels. Roll your shoulders back onto your backs and make sure that your hands are right next to your ribs. You're going to inhale and curl open into your baby cobra. Just using your back muscles here. Your hands are only there to support you. They're not holding any weight in them. Keep breathing. Exhale and release your right cheek to the floor. Take your hands to your sides and take some deep breaths. Roll your forehead back onto the floor and then start to set your hands up so that they're right underneath your shoulders, next to your rib cage. Press the tops of your feet into the ground and engage the tops of your knees. Then tuck your tailbone so you're reaching your tailbone down towards your heels. Roll your shoulders onto your back. On your inhale, you're going to curl open. This time, if you'd like to come up higher, come as high as feels good for you today. And release down to the floor. Take your arms to your sides and take a few deep breaths. Slide your arms out in front of you and bring your hands to stack on top of one another. Then rest your forehead on your hands. From there, you're going to bend your knees so that your footprints are facing towards the sky. And then you're going to drop your footprints to one side and over to the other. In our inverted windshield wipers here, or our European windshield wipers, we are releasing some of the tension that we just built up in our low backs. Bring your feet back into center and release them to the floor one at a time. Then you're going to take your right arm and extend it directly out from your shoulder with your palm up facing the floor. From there, and you get to decide how intense of a stretch this is by changing the angle of your arm. So this is going to be more intense, and this is going to be a less intense stretch on your shoulder. So you get to decide where you're placing your hand exactly. But once you figure out where you've got your arm, you're going to press your left hand into the ground to roll up onto your side. With your top leg stacked on top of your bottom leg, you can stay right here for your shoulder stretch. Or if you like, you can pick up your top leg and bend your knee, bringing your footprint to kickstand behind you. Wherever you are, take some big breaths. Then roll back onto your belly and switch arms. Take your left arm out, palm facing on the floor. Then press your hands into the ground to roll up onto one side. You can have your head resting on a block or a blanket here if it's not comfortable coming down onto the floor. And then if you'd like to have a kickstand, you can bend your top leg. Two more big breaths right here. Then release your top leg and slowly roll your belly back to the floor. Bring your hands to either side and gently press up through knees and take your hips back into a child's pose. But take your time, go slowly with this one. You can even tuck your toes to keep your hips lifted if that feels good for you. And inhale, come back up to hands and knees. Set yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Then you're going to tuck your toes and take your hips back into your downward facing dog pose. In your downward facing dog pose, reach through your sit bones back behind you. Find some movement that feels good for you. On your next inhale, walk towards your hands, coming into your forward fold. Inhale up to half forward fold. Exhale, fold over your legs. Take your hands to clasp one over the other wrist behind your back and allow your head to hang here. Find some movement, nod your head, shake your head. Or do a little ear to shoulder, ear to shoulder. Come back into center. Then take a big bend to both knees. Take your arms wide and inhale to rise to mountain. Exhale your hands at your sides. Make sure, look down at your feet and make sure that they're hip distance apart and parallel from one another. Root down with all four corners of your feet, pick up your toes, and then re-grip the ground with your toes. Give yourself a little bit of a bend in your knees, then tilt your pelvis so that you're reaching your tailbone down towards the floor. Engage your low belly and roll your shoulders back and broad. Take your hands out at your sides. And if it feels comfortable for you, allow your eyes to close for a moment here. Take some breaths and take the moment to tune in. Inhale, take your arms wide. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale up to half forward fold. Exhale and fold deeper. If you have blocks, you can use blocks here if you'd like. Step back with your right foot. Turn and plant your toes, or turn on your toes and plant your heel. And then bring your elbow, your forearm, to your bent knee. Take your right hand to your hip and open your chest to the right. Then look back and make sure that you're not locking out your back knee. Make sure you've got a little bit of a bend in your knee, then bend in deeper to this front leg. Wrap your glute so that it opens your knee to the left, your front knee. Continue to press down through this arm into your elbow so that you're not sinking into this shoulder. And then if you'd like, you can take your arm directly up or overhead. Take a big breath. Release your hand back down to your block. Tuck your toes and step forward to your forward fold. Inhale up to half forward fold. Exhale, fold deeper. Move your blocks aside, plant your hands, and step back into your downward facing dog. Inhale, come forward to your plank. Exhale and release to the floor. Inhale to curl open. Exhale and press back through hands and knees if that's comfortable for you. Tuck your toes and come back into your downward facing dog pose. Start to walk towards your hands. Then inhale up to half forward fold. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, take your arms wide and reach. Exhale your hands to heart center. Inhale and reach. Exhale to fold. Inhale up to a flat spine, reaching through your sit bones back behind you, lifting through your chest. Exhale, release your hands to your blocks. Step back with your left foot and then turn and plant your heel. Bring your elbow to your bent knee and your left hand to your hip to open your chest to the left. Bend deeper into your front knee and open your knee to the right. Then open your chest. Take your arm towards the ceiling, or if you'd like, you can reach over your ear. Take a big breath. Inhale. Then release your hands back to your blocks. Tuck your toes and step forward to your forward fold. Inhale to half. Exhale, release. Plant your hands and step back into your downward facing dog. Find some movement here that feels good for you tonight. Then release your knees down to the floor. Take your knees wide. Bring your heels close to one another. Press your hips back towards your heels. And then walk your hands out in front of you. If it feels good, you can bring your hands to prayer position, bending your elbows and bringing your hands above your head. Release your hands back down to the ground. And gently walk yourself up to a seated position. Then take your feet to one side, your hips to the other to come all the way down onto your sit bones. and grab your blanket. You're going to take your blanket to a quarter fold so that you've got the long edge of your blanket, and then you're going to roll up your blanket. Bring your blanket so that it's right behind you, going the length of your mat. And then bring your blanket so that it's right up against your hips. From there, you're going to gently walk yourself back so that you're laying your spine over the roll. And then you can take your arms out at your sides, and you can take your feet either to a butterfly here, or you can extend them out long. Whatever feels better for you. Take some deep breaths and allow your eyes to close if that feels comfortable. Bend one knee at a time, bringing your footprints back to the floor. Then roll over to one side, just enough that you can reach back and slide your blanket out from underneath you. Put your blanket off to the side, but keep it close if you want it for Shavasana. Then bend one knee at a time, bringing them both into your chest. Give your legs a good squeeze into your belly, and then gently rock side to side, finding some length here in your low back and massaging out your spine. Now release your knees. You're going to cross your right leg over your left. And then you're going to bring your hands either to one knee, to both knees, to your shins, or even to your thighs. Whatever feels good for you today. Maybe you press your legs a little bit closer into your abdomen. Release your legs and then switch the cross. Bring your hands to one knee or your shins, maybe your thighs. And pull your legs closer into your belly if that feels good for you today. Release your knees and uncross your legs. Then extend one leg out long at a time. Cross your right leg over your left, your right ankle over your left, and then bend your elbows and start to inch your way over to the left. From there, you can take your arms overhead in a nice full side body stretch. Then release your arms, bring your elbows back to the ground and start to inch your way over to the right and switch the cross of your ankles. Inhale your arms up overhead. And release your arms to your sides. Inchworm your way back into center. And uncross your legs. And then start to set yourself up however you'd like for Shavasana. That could be a blanket under your hips, a blanket over your body, whatever's going to allow you to release. Wherever you are, start to make any final adjustments so that you can settle into stillness. Allow your eyes to close and tune back into your breath. Begin to take a deeper breath. Find some movement in your fingers and in your toes. Bend your knees and take your arms overhead. Move any props aside that you may have and roll over to whichever side feels better. At your side, bring your belly close to the floor and take a deep breath, feeling the support that the earth provides. On your next inhale, gently press into the ground to slowly come up to a seated position. And at seated, shift once more, grounding down through your sit bones. Take an inhale to lift tall through your chest and skull. Roll your shoulders onto your back. And let's bring our hands together at our hearts. Inhale to lift tall. And exhale to bow your head towards your hands. I give my body everything it needs to be healthy and strong. Honor yourself for taking the time to be here for you. I'd like to thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.